Hey, hey, hi, Leos. All right, Leos, let's take a little peek here. Leos, we're going to take a look at, sorry about that. We're going to take a look at what's inside the temple. And I was looking, the temple is inside the heart. We have excellence. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And greatness. I understand once again that the greatness of God always reveals itself in the simple things. This is very lovely, and this is very much, I would say, steeped in the energy of, like, I think Leo is striving to do good things in their life. I think that they are realizing that they're on a life path, that they have a purpose, that they have things to accomplish, things to do. It looks really awesome. We have an Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords being upright is definitely a clear path. I think, if anything, Leo might be cutting through things that are unnecessary, cutting through like drama, obstacles, blockages of sorts. We've got this Knight of Wands here, though. Is Leo done dealing with people that are here for a good time, not a long time? Is Leo cutting out the energies of things that don't necessarily serve them? Or is Leo embracing the fact that sometimes in life we have a creative mind and we need to explore a lot of different avenues, and we need to, expand and try to, like, in this really excited way, we need to go ahead and jump on in and, follow our path a little bit, even if our path takes us in many different directions. We got the Nine of Pentacles upright. Nine of Pentacles is about, finding one's personal value and feeling really empowered. I kind of think that this is a Leo whose life path is to suddenly flood their life with all kinds of talents, all kinds of adventures, all kinds of activities. This is them either absorbing new information or assisting in lots of different projects. Like, Leo could get really interested in doing all kinds of different good works. We've got a King of Swords upright. That King of Swords is very clear visioned, clear minded. I don't know that Leo is looking at, I need to do these things in my life to, add value to my life so then I can deal with the King of Swords. I think, if anything, the King of Swords is someone who, they may have gone and locked horns with Leo at some point. They may have gone toe to toe with Leo at some point. Let me change decks here. Who is the King of Swords? We've got a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, Temperance. Okay, this could be somebody who wants peace with Leo. But let me backtrack to, if Leo's internal self is saying, I am seeking, things in my life that will add value. I want to do things that matter a great deal in my lifetime. I feel like I'm not going to deal with people that are, randomly disrupting my world. But on the other hand, I am allowing myself to explore many different avenues, and I'm going to become very successful in many different avenues of life. I think Leo already has a lot of talents, and I just think that they're fully embracing those talents. Okay, here's the crazy part. This King of Swords did lock horns with Leo. They see Leo as a Queen of Swords. So we have a perfectly matched energy. Leo, I don't know who this is, but they think Leo's bomb diggity. They think Leo has got a really powerful way to put up boundaries. They think Leo has a really powerful, like, way to connect, things to say. They've got a very, I think Leo has a really empowered way about them. Leo must have put up a boundary with them at some point, but then Leo's life has been to strive for gaining personal empowerment. Almost like, although this King of Swords already thinks Leo is super empowered, Leo didn't come across that way for themselves, but rather as something that they've had to work on and gain personal empowerment. But the King of Swords sees Leo as the Queen of Swords. Okay, and then we have the Knight of Swords. So I'm thinking Leo is a fast talker. Leo is able to hit the nail on the head. They're able to instinctually spout off things that maybe were true that needed to be spoken. They may have put up a boundary with the King of Swords, and this King of Swords respects Leo for it. But I do think Leo didn't feel like, oh, wow, I just won that verbal throwdown match. That's not how it was for Leo at all. I don't think Leo was trying to engage in like verbal battle or anything along those lines. I just think Leo's instincts might be very good. And the things that they say are very on point, very straightforward. The King of Swords knows this and admires and respects it in Leo. The irony of it is that Leo is not over here strutting their stuff, feeling oh so powerful. That's not the way Leo sees this. They weren't ever feeling oh so confident. Four of Cups. In fact, Leo might have felt like, man, what a bummer. That whole exchange that I had with this King of Swords at one point was sure a hot mess. So Leo sees it totally differently than the King of Swords sees it. Hang on, let's take another look. King of Swords, what is it about Leo? Did Leo say something true to you and actually look, they think Leo's amazing, right? But we have a Page of Wands. It kind of turned them on. Something that Leo said or did was very true. We have the Nine of Swords also. Okay, so something that Leo said or did has been staying in their head, rattling around in their head. They're attracted to Leo, and they admire Leo, and they're intimidated by Leo, and they are having sleepless nights because of Leo. But Leo's over here in their own internal mindset saying, you know what, I got to just like do better in my life, do more in my life. I want to like really focus on success and stability. Leo has no idea that they're already viewed as this incredibly successful person, specifically by the person that they maybe had to say something a little sassy to, or that they had to put up a boundary with. Leo spoke to this King of Swords completely at their level. Leo's words hit home with the King of Swords. Leo themselves does not feel like they were, I don't know, let me ask this. How does Leo feel about what happened between themselves and the King of Swords? We saw the Four of Cups. We have the Star card sideways. This honestly feels like it's, that was a long time ago. It's like, that's a far away memory. It's something I've been healing from. So I think that it definitely, did Leo actually have a moment where they had to tell off even a lover, even someone that Leo had wanted to be with? And for whatever reason, Leo had to tell them in no uncertain terms, with a very swift reaction, this is not going to fly. I'm putting up a boundary. And Leo even regrets what happened. Like maybe Leo feels like there should have been more conversation. Maybe there shouldn't have been. Leo says it was a long time ago and I've, mostly healed from it. But Queen of Wands, Leo went into full blown, like, I will not tolerate not being treated well enough. Leo stood up for themselves, and they did it in a split second with something that they didn't like that just happened. And interestingly enough, it made the King of Swords, who was actually the person Leo pushed back on, it made them respect Leo more. It made them realize that Leo's someone they're very attracted to, but they're also intimidated. Why are you having sleepless nights over Leo? Four of Swords in the reverse, because again, they can't heal from this. They can't let go of this. How did Leo's words impact you? Because we know that Leo put up a boundary with you, King of Swords. Three of Cups impacted Leo impacted them by hearing that Leo is willing to go meet other people. Maybe Leo said something about like, I could find anybody to treat me as badly as you have been. And maybe that's it. Maybe they weren't giving proper respect, or maybe they weren't, beside Leo the way they should have been. It's weird because they're realizing they don't want Leo to be single and be out there and available. What was the context here? Hang on. Who was the King of Swords to Leo back then? King of Wands. They should have been Leo's romantic partner and Leo's forever romantic partner. Then how did things go so wrong? Somebody got really cocky, possibly. The Six of Wands would, though, be, it was really good. We were really happy. Everything was wonderful. I felt like $1 million. But then did they start breadcrumbing Leo? Is that what happened? Because we do have the Page of Pentacles. Why, if you were Leo's man at that time and everything was wonderful, why would you have downgraded and breadcrumbed? I don't know, but we definitely have this Ten of Swords. It could be that they got intimidated. If it started out where it's like, oh man, I love this Leo. Leo's my person. But wow, Leo seems really confident. Oh, I don't know how to handle that. I don't know why a king steps down to just a page and then goes into, I think this is going to be over. I feel really foolish, unless he got rattled in his own personal confidence. All because Leo came across as like, maybe when they met Leo, they didn't know how powerful Leo was. They didn't know how successful Leo was. And it almost threatened them or brought up fears in themselves. And then they were feeling insecure. Maybe Leo made more money than they did. Maybe, there's something about what Leo was that they started to believe that this won't work out. And they put in less and less energy into this connection. It started out amazing. And then they like downgraded it because I think they got intimidated by Leo. Maybe that's why, if this person downgraded, started breadcrumbing Leo, and then Leo had to actually tell them, hey, you don't treat me like that. I'm not going to put up with this at all. I'm out. I'm done. And Leo might have said something to them that really, they see Leo standing up for themselves and they actually really like that. But maybe that's also what triggered Leo to say, man, I've been having to work on, like believing in myself ever since. And I've been having to rebuild my self-confidence, because ironically, this is the like whole crazy catch-22 of this story. They were nuts about Leo, then got intimidated by Leo because Leo was confident. Then they withdrew their energy, making Leo feel like crap, making Leo had to break things off with them or put up a boundary with them. And then Leo had to go back and try to work on their self-confidence because they felt like they'd lost confidence in themselves because the way this person had treated them. So it's this bizarre layer of like the circular, when characters, start to feel insecure, and then the behavior of insecurity then impacts the other person. And then, it's like passing the disease of insecurity around. That's how this comes across to me. I hope I explained that well, because it's a weird cycle to see. And with the moon card here, it really says that, like, this is all stuff from the subconscious that they got triggered on and was brought to the surface. And unfortunately, the stuff from the subconscious doesn't necessarily show up and be like, hey, here I am, because it's all in the hidden realms. It's all in the subconscious energy. So we definitely had both of them getting triggered, like by each other, feeling not good enough. First one, then the other. So at this point, what's going on? Four of Wands is sideways. At this point, Leo is working toward, becoming more empowered. They've mostly healed from what happened in the past. But meanwhile, the King of Swords has continued to know that Leo is somebody that they want, stressing out about Leo, unable to sleep because of Leo. And the biggest thing is they're thinking about Leo ending up with somebody else. And that is not what they want. They think maybe Leo is already with somebody else, or that Leo was determined to move on and find somebody else who will treat them better. So what are you going to do? Because you still see Leo as your Four of Wands. Ace of Swords. If they're truly a King of Swords or a King of Wands, I know they downgraded to a page at one point, but if they've worked through this, and if they're not able to sleep, and if they're going crazy thinking about, man, I blew it with Leo because I got insecure, and then started to breadcrumb them thinking Leo couldn't possibly want me. I'm not good enough. Leo's so awesome. Then I hurt Leo. Then Leo kicks me to the curb and tells me that they deserve to be treated better, which is absolutely true. But now I'm worried that Leo's going to go off and be with someone else who will treat him better. No, this madness has to stop. If that's where they get to in their thought processes, then they will absolutely say, I have to come forward and I have to talk to Leo. I got to set all this right. I got to go ahead and tell Leo I got triggered. I got worried he wouldn't stay with me. Nine of Cups. I don't know. Do they have a big like reveal? Is this that they're going to have to go ahead and speak from the heart and actually tell Leo, like, you were the happiest thing in my life? Knight of Pentacles. I think they want to reveal that their great wish would be if they could rebuild things with Leo. And I think they're going to be really transparent about everything. So interestingly enough, this story, which was only intended to be just about Leo's like internal energy flow, it turns out that Leo's internal energy flow was looked at, but so too was this other person who is obviously integrated into Leo's life story a little bit. Let's get one more here just for Leo, okay? Because I feel like where we left Leo off was Leo's still been working on rebuilding their self-confidence, building into their life, and pursuing different talents, different hobbies, different things that they're really good at. Seven of Pentacles sideways. This has been a long time. Leo's already having some things in their life blossom, but I think that they could have a lot more blossom in their life. Eight of Cups, but Leo sees themselves as kind of just being single. They may see themselves with nobody on their horizon at all. They're just focused on what life they might be able to build. We have the Death card. Definitely Leo has shifted their energy. They're not thinking about that person from the past. They're certainly not thinking anybody is wishing for them, wanting to be with them, wanting to support them, wanting to love them. Leo just transformed and has come to the conclusion that, their life might be spent alone, but they'll have, pursuits and hobbies and such. And they're kind of only looking at their own life plans. I do not see this Leo even actively dating at the moment. They've been more consumed with, let me build my wealth, let me build my confidence, let me rebuild what was lost when that person treated me badly. And I think Leo's just been very much, remember the first two cards were about excellence and greatness. Leo's just trying to say, okay, so if I wasn't enough yet, maybe that's why they didn't treat me well enough, then let me go ahead and build myself into somebody that, is more successful, more, attractive, more this, more that, more accomplished. I like the fact that I think they're doing it mostly for themselves, though, not like for anyone else, but it's so that Leo took this kind of like unpleasant experience that they had and then turned it into motivation to simply like become the best that they can possibly be. But that's all they're thinking about right now. They're not really thinking about love and romance. I think it's a good thing if this King of Swords does hightail it back into Leo's life, because they really need to set the record straight, because this really negatively impacted Leo. All right, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing.